Speak your mind. Own the room. Real Talk Society is where it all starts.
Okay, so I was thinking about something earlier today, and it's a little uncomfortable, but I feel like we have to go there.
I love it. Let's do it. What's on your mind?
All right, so you know how we always talk about communication, like how to be a better speaker, how to be more confident?
Yeah, that's our whole thing.
Well, today I don't want to talk about communication. I want to talk about the fear of communicating.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's a whole different level. I can feel that.
Right? It's that moment when you have something you want to say, but you just don't. The words get stuck.
Or when someone asks you a question and you know the answer, but you give like the absolute shortest possible reply just to make the conversation end faster.
Yes. Or even worse, you say nothing at all. Complete silence.
Yeah, that one hits different because everyone, and I mean everyone, has been in that spot. Every single person listening has felt that.
So that's what we're digging into today. We're calling it what it is, the comfort zone of silence.
And it really is a comfort zone, isn't it? It feels safe.
Yeah, totally. Let's be honest about it. Staying quiet, it feels like a neutral choice. Like you're not doing anything wrong. You're just there. Like silence is just nothing.
But it's not nothing. That's the illusion. It's actually a decision. It's a very, very active decision to protect yourself, to avoid risk, to avoid judgment, to avoid feeling anything negative.
So you're saying silence is its own, comfort zone?
It's the ultimate comfort zone. It's all the same pattern, you know? Giving short answers, avoiding sharing your opinions. It's all the same fear, just wearing a different outfit.
Wow. Okay, so, where does something like that even come from? Because, like, babies aren't afraid to make noise.
That's the million-dollar question. And you're so right. Nobody's born afraid to speak. Kids? Oh my gosh. Kids have zero problems with this. They say everything that pops into their heads. No filter, absolutely no fear.
So, what happens to us?
Life happens, and I mean that seriously. At some point, somewhere along the way, we learn that speaking can be risky. Think about it. Maybe you were in second grade and you gave a wrong answer and the class laughed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or a parent or a teacher corrected you really harshly in front of people. Or you shared an idea you were excited about and you just got blank stares. Your brain, your little survival computer, it logs that experience. It files it away under a big red flag folder labeled "Speaking Up Has Consequences."
And it concludes that it's just safer to stay quiet.
Exactly. And from that one moment, or maybe a few moments like it, silence becomes a strategy. But here's the dangerous part. Strategies, when you repeat them, they become habits.
And habits, what? They become your personality?
They become your identity. Suddenly, you're not just someone who doesn't feel like talking right now. You start to believe that you're just a quiet person. You start to believe that you genuinely have nothing valuable to say. And that's the tragedy.
That's heartbreaking, actually, because it's not true.
It's absolutely not true. It's a story you learn to tell yourself to stay safe. And I call the mechanism that enforces this the invisible wall.
The invisible wall. Okay, tell me more about that. What is that?
It's that split second right before you speak, that tiny little pause. In that half a second, your brain runs 1,000 frantic calculations.
Like, is this, worth saying? Or will I sound stupid?
Totally. What if I get the grammar wrong? What if they misunderstand me? What if they judge my accent? And by the time your brain finishes that terrified little checklist, the moment is gone.
The conversation has already moved on.
It's moved on, and you stayed quiet again. And then you lie to yourself. You say, it wasn't that important anyway. But it was. It always is.
That's exhausting. Just listening to that is exhausting.
It's so exhausting because that little program is always running in the background. Every meeting, every date, every party. And the wall gets stronger. It gets thicker every single time you let it win. You're training it without even knowing you are.
Okay, so let's talk about the real world costs of this. Because it's not just about, feeling a little awkward.
Oh, it costs way more than people think. The obvious one is growth, right? You don't grow if you don't speak up, ask questions, or share ideas. Period. But it goes deeper. Let's talk about relationships. People who stay quiet are often misinterpreted. People see them as cold or disinterested or sometimes even arrogant, when the reality is they're just scared. They are terrified.
And that misunderstanding, it creates distance.
A huge distance between you and your colleagues, your friends, opportunities. All of it gets filtered through this silence. And silence is a really, really bad filter. It doesn't let much through.
And what about confidence?
Oh, the confidence spiral. This is so important. Every time you don't speak when you wanted to, your confidence takes a tiny little hit, a little micro failure. And that lower confidence makes it even harder to speak the next time, which drops your confidence even more. It's a vicious cycle that feeds itself until the idea of speaking, even in a safe situation, feels almost impossible.
Okay, I have to ask this because I know someone listening is thinking it. What about introverts? Some people might hear this and just say, well, I'm just an introvert. That's my personality.
Yes, the introvert card. Look, introversion is 100% real. It's about where you get your energy from. Socializing can be draining for an introvert. That is totally valid.
But, you think there's a difference?
There's a massive difference between introversion and fear. A true introvert makes a choice. They choose when to speak and when to listen and recharge. It's a preference. Fear doesn't give you a choice. Fear makes the choice for you.
So, a lot of people might be using introvert as a label?
To avoid confronting the fear, because the label feels way safer than doing the work. Here's the test. If you can speak freely and openly with your family or your closest friends, but you completely freeze up and can't say a word in a meeting with strangers, that's not introversion. That's fear wearing a very comfortable mask.
Wow, okay, this is why you stay quiet, right? That's the name of the game. So, what do we do? How do we start to fix this? Because you can't just tell someone to stop being afraid.
No, that's the worst advice ever. It never works. The very first step is to change your relationship with silence.
What does that mean?
Right now, for the person who's afraid, silence feels like protection. It feels like armor. We need to start seeing it for what it really is, a barrier. And it's not a barrier between you and danger. It's a barrier between you and everything you actually want.
The connection you want, the confidence.
The career you want, all of it is on the other side of speaking, not on the other side of silence. That's the fundamental mind shift.
Okay, so that's a big shift. How do you start making it practical?
You start with awareness, just noticing. Noticing when the invisible wall appears. Don't fight it, just see it. Acknowledge it. Oh, there it is. I'm feeling that urge to stay quiet right now.
And then what?
Then you ask yourself one simple question. What would I say right now if I wasn't afraid? And whatever that answer is, you say that.
Even if it's, not perfect?
Especially if it's not perfect. Perfectionism is the best friend of fear. So let's make it super practical. Think of one situation where you always go quiet. A team meeting, a class, a dinner with new people.
Okay, got one.
Great. Next time you're in that situation, your goal isn't to be brilliant. Your goal is to say one thing, just one. It could be one observation. That's a really interesting point. It could be one question. Can you tell me more about that? It could be one reaction. Wow, I never thought of it that way.
It doesn't have to be a huge speech.
It just has to be real, because real is always enough. And every time you do it, you're proving to your brain that it's safe. The wall gets a tiny bit thinner. Then you do it again and again, until one day you walk right through it and you don't even notice it was ever there.
So, if someone listening recognizes themselves in any of this, what's the takeaway?
First, good. Seriously, good. Awareness is the first step. You can't change something if you don't see it. Second, you are not broken. You're not shy forever. You just built a very effective habit to protect yourself.
And habits can be rebuilt.
100%. One word at a time. Start small, but please start. Because the version of you that speaks freely, that shares all the amazing ideas inside your head, that person is already in there. They're just waiting for you to give them permission to come out.
And if this episode made you think about your own silence, please don't keep that thought to yourself. That's kind of the whole point, right?
Exactly. Come find us. We're on YouTube and everywhere else as @Real Talk Society Club. Leave a comment. Tell us your story. We genuinely, truly want to hear it.
Until next time, everyone, take care of yourself. And please remember, your voice matters so much more than you think.